Before you even finish adjusting your volume, understand this. Every story you're about to hear is based in the United States. Every location exists. Every police report was filed. And in all 3 cases, law enforcement reached the scene, but couldn't stop what was already happening. Sometimes the badge doesn't protect you. Sometimes the radio goes quiet. And sometimes whatever is on the other side of the door doesn't care that help is coming. The first story begins in rural Pennsylvania, in a place where cell service dies faster than hope and the forests stretch so deep that sound itself seems to get lost. In the winter of 2009, a 911 dispatcher in Clearfield County received a call that didn't sound urgent at first. The man on the line spoke calmly, too calmly, like someone describing the weather. He said there was someone outside his house. Not knocking. Not breaking in. Just standing there. The dispatcher asked how long the person had been there. The man paused, then said, "Since before I woke up." Police were sent immediately, but the property was nearly 30 minutes away, tucked behind a stretch of forest roads that weren't properly mapped. As officers drove, the dispatcher stayed on the line. The man explained that he lived alone, that his nearest neighbor was over a mile away, and that his house backed directly into state forest land. When asked to describe the person outside, he said he couldn't. Not because it was dark, but because every time he tried to look directly at the figure, his vision blurred, like his eyes refused to focus. The dispatcher thought it might be fear or exhaustion. Then the man added something that changed the tone completely. He said the figure wasn't facing the house. It was facing the woods. Like it was waiting for something else to come out. 10 minutes passed. The dispatcher asked if the figure had moved. The man said yes. It was now closer to the window. Still not facing him. Still facing the trees. The dispatcher told him to stay inside, lock all doors, and turn on every light. The man laughed softly and said the lights were already on. He said the figure didn't cast a shadow. At this point, officers were about 12 minutes away. The dispatcher heard a faint sound through the phone. A low rhythmic tapping. Not on the door. Not on the window. On the wall. From the outside. Like someone knocking from the wrong side of the house. The man whispered that the tapping was moving. That it wasn't walking. It was sliding along the exterior, keeping the same height, like it wasn't using legs at all. The dispatcher told him to go to a safe room if he had one. The man said he didn't want to move because every time he shifted position, the tapping stopped, then resumed closer. As police approached the area, their radios began to crackle with static. Not interference. Just silence between bursts of noise, like something was swallowing the signal. The dispatcher asked the man if the figure had a face. There was a long pause. Then he said, "I think it noticed me asking that." The tapping stopped. For several seconds, there was nothing but breathing on the line. Then the man said quietly, "It's facing me now." He started crying. Not screaming. Not panicking. Just crying like someone who already knows the ending. He said the face wasn't wrong. It was too right. Like every human face he had ever seen blended together and emptied of expression. Then he said something that caused the dispatcher to flag the call as high priority. He said, "It's mouthing my name." Police arrived at the property less than 4 minutes later. They found the house completely intact. Lights on. Doors locked from the inside. No signs of forced entry. No footprints in the snow except the man's, leading from the front door to his truck, which was still parked. Inside, they found him in the living room. Alive. But unresponsive. Eyes open. Mouth frozen midward. Medical teams later confirmed that every organ was functioning, but his brain showed signs of extreme trauma, as if he had witnessed something his mind refused to process. He never spoke again. Not once. Police searched the surrounding woods for days. They found no tracks. No evidence. No suspects. The case was closed as an unexplained medical incident. But the dispatcher who took the call quit 2 weeks later. She said that sometimes, when the station is quiet, she still hears tapping through the headset, even when no line is open. The second story takes us to Southern California, where the desert gives you the illusion of safety because you can see everything coming. In 2014, a family living outside of Joshua Tree began reporting disturbances on their property. At first, it was animals going silent. Then it was motion lights triggering with nothing visible on camera. Then it was their dog refusing to go outside after sunset. The father, a former Marine, installed additional cameras and floodlights. Everything looked normal. Until one night, the cameras caught something standing just outside the light's reach. Not moving. Not blinking. Just standing there for over 3 hours. Police were called. They arrived, searched the property, found nothing, and suggested it might be a prank or a glitch. The next night, the thing moved closer. This time, the camera audio picked something up. Breathing. Not labored. Not aggressive. Just present. The family called police again. Officers arrived faster this time. As they stepped onto the property, every camera feed went black simultaneously. Their body cams recorded something strange. Not an image, but a sound. A low-frequency hum that caused nausea and dizziness in everyone present. One officer vomited. Another reported intense pressure behind his eyes. They cleared the area and left, advising the family to stay inside and keep doors locked. At 3:17 a.m., the father woke to his daughter standing in the hallway. She was 6 years old. She said someone outside was calling her name. Police were called again. This time, dispatch stayed on the line as officers approached. The father reported scratching sounds at the windows, moving room to room, always stopping when he entered. Then the scratching started inside the walls. Police arrived to find the family barricaded in the master bedroom. No signs of forced entry. No attic access disturbed. But every wall showed fresh interior scratches, as if something had been moving between studs. Then the officers heard it, too. A voice. Not from a speaker. Not from outside. From everywhere at once. Repeating the daughter's name in the father's voice. One officer fired his weapon into the wall. The sound stopped instantly. The hum disappeared. The air pressure normalized. Police searched the house. Nothing. No animals. No intruders. The family moved out within a week. The house was sold at auction 6 months later. The new owners reported similar experiences within days. The property is now abandoned. Joshua Tree Park Service denies knowledge of any such incidents. But local officers quietly admit they will not respond to calls from that address after dark.